4 years ago, I was on food stamps. 3 years ago, I was homeless. And today, I run a $4.5 million venture capital fund.
Years ago, Arlan Hamilton was sleeping on the floor of an airport and living on food stamps. Today, she is making waves in the white male-dominated world of venture capital. Her venture capital firm, Backstage Capital, has invested over $5 million in 100 companies launched by women, people of color, or founders who identify as LGBTQ.
I said I'm going to invest in 100 companies by 2020. It wasn't a question or a hope. I'm going to.
It was a fact.
It was a fact, yeah. Hashtag a fact. I mean, I had people laugh in my face and
like
say,
actively.
Yeah, people that were successful and had something, and I was homeless.
Well, and in fact, you were wrong because you didn't fund 100
That's
companies.
Right.
By
They're exactly right.
You beat that goal by a year and a half.
Yeah.
You are being the champion for all these underrepresented voices, people that are not taken seriously or not even considered at all, really.
I wasn't like, oh, that's gonna be cool, or that's gonna be, like, that's a big number, and look at me. It was, people are out here saying that we don't exist. When I would reach out to investors in Silicon Valley and talk about race or orientation or gender, I would get responses like, we don't talk about that. You shouldn't talk about that. People knew what was happening, but it wasn't something that was safe to talk about. And because I didn't have that history in that world, I wasn't afraid to say it. And I think that's the edge.
Last year, we were in the pits and I was not going to be able to make payroll. And I came and met her for her office hours and she was like, don't do the thing, just talk to me, what's going on? And I was like, if we don't get $10,000 in the bank, I'm gonna lose my company like next week. And she wired me, she wired me $10,000 that week out of her own personal funds so that we could make payroll and make it.
But for any would-be venture capitalists or investors out there in the audience, what tips would you give them to finding their way into that industry?
Develop very thick skin. Learn how to take rejection at 10 times the rate you would as a founder. But also, if it's something that you're passionate about and you have a really good intent behind and you understand why you're doing it, don't let anyone stop you, including me.
You, Arlan Hamilton, were the first non-celebrity black woman, as well as the very first black woman in tech and VC to grace the cover of Fast Company magazine. Yes. And I'm sorry for the dad joke, but you were in very good company because the other black women that were on that cover were Oprah, Beyonce, Serena, and now you get the single name Arlan. You've just moved on to a single name moniker now, Arlan.
There are a ton of women and people of color and LGBT founders who have not seen themselves in the covers of business magazines, and they're starting to see that now, and that's what that meant to them.
In my classes, I'm often the only black woman, or like if I'm not the only black woman, I'm the only black student, period. And I just wanted to know, how do you all deal with that notion of just feeling like you don't belong because you're different from everyone else that comes in and pitches or whatever?
Can I say something? Do you see how the room reacted to you even getting out the first few words of what you said? You are making so many people proud right now by just being in that room. And so when you go into those rooms where you don't feel like you don't feel great about it, just take us with you into the rooms. And I think that'll fuel a lot of what you're doing because you're a rare gem gets a lot of attention and is very valuable, right? So you're gonna be very valuable when you finish what you're doing.
And so just being so deeply, truly yourself as a non-negotiable is the answer to everything else, I think. Every other question that I get asked, it always comes back to be yourself, be yourself, be true to yourself.
So dream a little dream, do a little more, and you can be just like Arlan Hamilton.
And I encourage you to take your inspiration from someone who will not stop. Ladies and gentlemen, Arlan Hamilton.
Thank you.